Every daily devotional by Pastor E. Adeboye. Today's Sunday, April 5th, 2026. Topic: Share the Good News, Part 2. Memory verse: Psalm 40, verse 9. Psalm 40, verse 9. I have preached righteousness in the great congregation. Lo, I have not refrained my lips. O Lord, thou knowest. Bible reading: 2 Kings chapter 7, verse 3 to 16. 2 Kings 7, 3 to 16. Message. Today's Bible reading tells us about how 4 leprous men rescued an entire city from his terrible economic situation. Before then, there had been a severe famine in Samaria for a prolonged time, and things got so bad that mothers began to eat their children in 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 26 to 29. 2 Kings 6, 26 to 29. After a while, Elisha, God's servant, proclaimed God's word that things would change for good the very next day, unaware of the prophetic words from the mouth of God's servants. The 4 lepers who live outside the city gates decided to take a bold step to go into enemy's camp. Their action paid off because God had caused the enemy soldiers to flee from their camp because they heard what sounded like a mighty army marching towards them. When the lepers entered the enemy's camp, they found out that all the soldiers had fled and had left behind all their food and other supplies. They were amazed, and they ate, drank, gathered silver, gold, and other precious items. However, after a while, they stopped and questioned their selfishness. Then they said one to another, We do not well. This day is a day of good tidings, and we hold our peace. If we tarry till the morning light, some mischief will come upon us. Now therefore come, that we may go and tell the king's household. 2 Kings chapter 7, verse 9. 2 Kings 7, 9. The lepers knew that it was a day of good tidings, so they refused to keep the good news to themselves. They reported their discovery to the king's household, and that was how God's word about a miraculous turnaround in the economic situation of the city came to pass the very next day. If you are a Christian, then you know that today is a day of good tidings. Jesus died and resurrected to bring us into a new day. Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 31. Jeremiah 31, 31 tells us about the days when God will make a new covenant with his people. These are the days of that new covenant, the days of God's grace and victory over the nature of sin. If you're not sharing this good news and telling others about the wonderful works of God, you are denying them the opportunity of enjoying God's blessings. Beloved, God has saved you from Satan's bondage and freed you from his burdens. One way to appreciate him for this is to become a habitual testifier of his goodness. Don't keep the good news of Christ's redemption to yourself. Happy Easter. Action point. Tell at least one person about how Jesus saved you today. Bible in 1 year. 2 Samuel chapter 14 to chapter 16. 2 Samuel chapter 14 to chapter 16. Aim for today. Onward Christian soldiers. God bless you.